Yeah, I hope that you hearing me. This is the future, all about cybersecurity. Talking about the hackers, I'm just trying to warn you. From the one and only legend, the cyber informer. Hey, yeah, this is the cyber reformer. This is the cyber reformer. Let's go.
It's time for the Cybersecurity Business Connect and Protect Central Coast how-to video. I'm Michael Tremblett, the Cyber Informer, and today we'll be talking about setting up multi-factor authentication in Microsoft 365. Implementing multi-factor authentication is an extra layer of protection to help keep your data safe. In this video, we'll show you how to set up and use multi-factor authentication in Microsoft 365. Let's go. We'll recap what multi-factor authentication is. Multi-factor authentication is a key aspect to the Essential 8. Multi-factor authentication relates back to confidentiality and integrity in the CIA triad and is designed to keep your online data secure. To read about the Essential 8, go to https://loyalit.com.au/E8. This will redirect you to the government's website. Multi-factor authentication can be called two-factor authentication or three-factor authentication. It's the same thing. Multi-factor, two-factor, and three-factor authentication can be abbreviated to MFA, 2FA, and 3FA. Correctly configured multi-factor authentication is considered bulletproof for accessing accounts. Multi-factor authentication normally involves you entering your username and password, then another factor to complete the login. The factors are something you know, like your password, something you have, like your phone, something you are, like your fingerprint. The Essential 8 recommends setting up multi-factor authentication for VPNs, RDP, SSH, and other remote access utilities, and for all users when they perform a privileged action or access an important data repository. The reason for this is that stronger user authentication makes it harder for adversaries to access sensitive information and systems. What are the multiple factors? In high security businesses, you may be asked to provide 2 or even 3-factor authentication. Something you know, this will be your username and password combination. If you have just a username and password, this is 1-factor authentication. Typically, multi-factor authentication will be something you know in combination with something you have and or something you are. Something you have will be either a physical device such as a mobile phone, USB stick, key fob, or ID card. Think of this like withdrawing money from an ATM. You have your ATM card and your PIN in order to access the ATM. Something you are is a biological factor such as your fingerprint, face or voice recognition, handwriting, or retina scan. This is usually used as a third factor where you swipe a card, enter a PIN, then provide a retina scan to gain access to a heavily secured location. This how-to video will show you how to set up multi-factor authentication in Microsoft 365. We will use something you have, which will be your mobile phone. There are 3 options for multi-factor authentication in Microsoft 365: phone call, text message, or Authenticator app. The most secure and convenient is the Microsoft Authenticator app. There are some prerequisites and gotchas when it comes to setting up multi-factor authentication. Before you get started, make sure your Microsoft Office software versions support multi-factor authentication. If you use Microsoft Office 2010 and before, you will experience problems. You will also likely experience problems on Windows 7. If you have recently set up Microsoft 365, you will already have multi-factor authentication turned on by default. If you have an older Microsoft 365 account, you can enable security defaults via Azure Active Directory. Be careful when enabling such options, as this can prevent certain products from working, such as scanners or some cloud-to-cloud backup or other services that integrate with Microsoft 365. Multi-factor authentication can be enabled for individuals or for the entire organization. Note, to set up multi-factor authentication, you need to log in as a global admin account first. Setting up the entire organization can be risky if there are critical resources that don't support multi-factor authentication. We will concentrate on setting up multi-factor authentication for the individual. Before getting started, download the Microsoft Authenticator app on Android or iPhone. I'll step you through that process now. On the iPhone, we'll go to the App Store. We'll search for Microsoft Authenticator. Then we'll tap the Get or the Download button. Once that's downloaded, you'll see it on the main screen. On Android, we'll go to the Google Play Store, type in Microsoft Authenticator, tap the Install button. Once that's done, go back to the home screen, go to the app drawer, and then place the icon on the main screen. Now we'll open the app on both of the devices. We'll tap Agree to the first screen, and then we'll skip the next screen and that'll get us to the point where we can add a new account. Firstly, an administrator needs to set up your username as enabled for multi-factor authentication. You'll need to log into https://portal.azure.com as a Microsoft 365 Global Admin account. If you don't know this account, your IT service provider will be able to assist with this. Azure is the cloud management portal which performs authentication for all Microsoft cloud services. Microsoft 365 interacts with this behind the scenes. We will be interacting with this directly here. Click on Azure Active Directory. On the left, click on Users. At the top of the screen, click on Per User MFA. This will bring up a list of users and their multi-factor authentication status. The first thing you'll want to do is click on Service Settings at the top. This will allow you to select the allowed multi-factor options. App passwords allow you to bypass multi-factor authentication for products that don't support multi-factor authentication, such as older style printers and scanners, which can scan to email, for example. If you don't have any of those devices in your organization, you can set that option to do not allow users to create app passwords to sign into non-browser apps. Otherwise, set it to allow users to create app passwords to sign into non-browser apps. Under verification options, we can choose the method available to users. I would enable all except for text message to phone. This is known to be insecure, so disable it as an option. You can then set Remember Multi-Factor Authentication on trusted devices. I tend to leave this disabled, but if you turn it on, Microsoft recommends the number of days to be set to 90 or more. Click the Save button to save the changes. Now click on the Users link at the top. Find the users to enable multi-factor authentication on, and put a tick in the box to the left of their names. Then, click the Enable link on the right of the screen. A message will pop up on the screen. Just click on Enable Multi-Factor Auth, then click on Close. Your users will now be set up to use multi-factor authentication. Now they need to link their account to their phone app. From the web browser, go to https://portal.office.com. The user will be able to log in as usual. I'm using Bitwarden, it's filling in my login details automatically. And now it will say more information required. Your organization needs more information to keep your account secured. Click Next to this message. The screen with Step 1, How should we contact you, appears. Click on the drop-down box and select Mobile App. In the box below that, select the radio button next to Receive Notifications for Verification. Click on the Setup button. A QR code will appear on the screen. Now we need to go to our mobile phone to add an account. Open your app on your mobile device and tap on Add Account. Tap on the option Work or School Account. Then tap on Scan a QR code. Give permission for the Authenticator app to use the camera. These days we should be pretty familiar with scanning QR codes, so use your phone to scan the QR code on the screen. This will add an entry to your phone app with your email address and company name. You'll also see Authenticator would like to send you notifications. We'll press on Allow. We now see that entry for the Office 365 account that we just scanned the QR code for. Back to the browser, click Next. You should see the notification on the screen. Mobile app has been configured for notifications and verification codes. Click Next. This will send a notification to your phone. Tap Approve, which will show an approved message at the top of the screen. This should then progress the screen to Step 3 in case you lose access to the mobile app. Supply your phone number, as this will be used to recover your account should the mobile app be deleted or you lose your phone. Click Next. You'll be provided with an app password if the administrator allowed app passwords to be generated. This password can be used with legacy, non-multi-factor authentication enabled devices. You only get to see this password once, so note it down if you need it. Otherwise, you can ignore it and click Done. You'll now log into your account. Just click Yes to the message on the screen, and you'll be logged into the Office 365 portal under your account. From now on, when you log into any Microsoft 365 app or website, you'll be asked to accept the notification that pops up on your phone. You don't have to do this all the time, only periodically. Any new devices that you log into will prompt you to accept the notification. This protects your account as hackers may get your password, but they won't have your phone. Now we'll set up a second multi-factor authentication device on this account. so we can demonstrate how to set it up on Android. To do that, click on your profile picture, then click on View Account. Now click on Security Info, then click on Add Method. Now choose Authenticator app from the drop-down box and then click Add. Click Next twice. Now we'll go to the Android phone and tap on Add Account, tap on Work or School Account, tap on Scan a QR code, and then allow the Authenticator app to access the camera. Scan the QR code. Now this will show us that App Lock is enabled. What this will do is ask you to provide your PIN number or biometrics after you have approved the notification. This could be seen as a third factor, so it could be that we're setting up 3-factor authentication. Just tap on OK. Back in the browser, click Next. Now we'll be prompted to approve the sign-in. Tap Approve. There's the prompt for biometrics or passcode. We'll enter in my super secure passcode and then press Next. And we're now approved. Back in the browser, we can see the notification has been approved. We'll just click on Next. On the iPhone, we'll just hit Approve. It doesn't really matter at this point, but if we close out of the app and go back into it, we'll now see App Lock is enabled. This does exactly the same thing as what's on the Android phone. So after you accept a notification, it will then ask you to provide biometrics in the way of a fingerprint or Face ID, or alternatively, you can provide your phone unlock PIN number. Just tap on OK to accept it. Now back in the browser, let's log back into Office 365, and then we'll see the notifications come up on the phone. We then approve it. We allow Face ID. We authenticate with Face ID. And look, we've now logged in. We click yes to that message, and now we're into Office 365 again. This now concludes the configuration of multi-factor authentication in the admin portal, as well as on user accounts and on an Android phone and iPhone. Now that we've seen how to set it up, what happens if we lose or replace our phones? If you lose or replace your phone without going through the process to update multi-factor authentication on your new device, the multi-factor authentication status will need to be reset. This can be done within the Azure Active Directory portal, or if you supplied a recovery phone number, you can recover the device from there. In the Microsoft Authenticator app, you can log in with your Microsoft 365 account to sync these settings to your account. This means if you have multiple multi-factor authentication accounts synced to your Microsoft Authenticator app, such as your Twitter and Facebook account, these settings can be synced to your new device once you restore it, so you don't have to go through the multi-factor authentication reset process with those services. So what did we learn? We learned how to install a Microsoft Authenticator app on Android and iPhone. We enabled multi-factor authentication on selected accounts. We saw how multi-factor authentication works with Microsoft 365. We understand there is a process to go through if the multi-factor authentication device is lost. Thank you for joining me for a look at setting up multi-factor authentication in Microsoft 365. Don't forget, you can contact me via email, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Until next time, stay safe online.
Oh yeah, this is the cyber informer. Hackers, you going down like, oh yeah, this is the cyber informer. Hackers, you going down, yeah.